Hello everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Verdalia Park. I've been working a lot on this new area lately, so since I had a lot of footage, I'll be splitting this up into 2 separate episodes. So in this part, I'll be building the layouts of 2 new coasters. One of them will be a Gravity Group Woody, and the other is a kid-friendly Wild Mouse coaster. I'll be building the station and queue for the wooden one, adding some new flat rides, and building the exterior of the new restaurant. So let's get started. Okay, so going into this area, into this top level, I had already a pre-vision of like a wooden coaster along the edge of the lake. And I find it funny that someone commented the exact same idea under my last video, I think. And I was like, oh my god, I've been thinking that. So it really confirmed my idea. So then I decided to make the lake a lot bigger. Like by bigger I mean like double the size and longer. That way I could fit a wooden coaster throughout it. So once I'm done extending the lake, I decide where I want to put the station for the wooden coaster. And at first I wanted to put it on this edge of the upper level, but that'll change in a little bit because I kind of didn't like the placing, and the lift hill going above the path was just, I don't know, it wouldn't really have worked in my perspective, I don't think. But anyway, the layout stays the same. I just moved the station later on. So then I decided to kind of make this like wildcat type of drop where it just drops and turns immediately. And then my idea is to have like a really crazy and like fast airtimey layout, and like a relatively quick layout too, because it's in the kids area, and I kind of want it to be one of those like classic wooden coasters that a kid would go to as like one of their first big coasters, you know what I mean? So I don't want to make it too extreme, and I don't want to make it too long either, but I want it to pack a punch. Good enough of a punch. And just as a warning, I will be changing the color of this wooden coaster a lot, probably. I don't even think the color you'll see in this video are going to be the last color that I decide on. I'm pretty sure I change it in the second part of this because I'm only building half of the top level in this video, so it's probably going to change. just letting you know. And while I was building this coaster, I know I said it was like the drop was similar to Wildcat, which is by GCI, but for this ride I'm going for a Gravity Group because I feel like all of their rides are very compact, but they still are really intense. So that's what I wanted for this ride, because you know I don't really have much space in this lake, and I kind of just want it to be lakeside. So I don't have much space to work with, but I want to make it pack a punch. So I went with kind of a Gravity Group inspired layout with the way the transitions kind of very smooth, very, I don't know, it's just kind of like you're flying along the lake. So yeah, I'm not sure how well I did in like capturing that Gravity Group vibe, because sometimes I struggle with the wooden coasters and the differences between them, like GCI and Gravity Group. I tend to like confuse the two a lot of the time. So I hope with this one, the compact and like the weird snappy little turns and a lot of airtime, I hope that gives Gravity Group vibes. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how I did on that, please. So right here is when I decide I did not like where the station was, because I don't know, it would be really hard to make the path fit underneath that lift hill, and then it would look really weird with the wooden supports. So I moved it to this side, and I kind of made the drop a lot more, like a lot steeper, and like it turns fully around that drop. So I don't know how Gravity Group that is, but that's just how it ended up. And I liked it anyway. I still feel like it's a cool drop. It's not really similar to anything else, so I feel like it gives it like a really unique touch. So yeah, a lot of this time lapse is just me smoothing out the ride and just kind of making sure the shaping stays right to how I want it, because I'm really aiming for like a wiggly and wavy. Like look at this, that part of the ride, wiggly. I want it to be like as feels like you're flying as possible, because it'll fit along with the name at some point, and you'll see. Not in this episode, but in the next episode, you'll see the name that I choose for this. So, yeah. So for this part of the ride, I decided to make it cross into like where the people are and where they walk, and I kind of wanted to do that as like a little interaction with the crowds, you know? I feel like it would be cool to see the coaster pass by, and I don't want it to be completely mysterious and isolated from the rest, because from the perspective of the upper level, it's pretty much you can't really see much, and I feel like it's a little too suspicious. So I added this little part where people can see at least one part of the ride, and I thought that was a cool idea. One thing I feel like is important to say, like, because I don't know if I've said it when I made Fireflight, but I create the brake run before I finish the ride, and I just feel like that is my method of like realism, because I feel like I don't want to have to guess where I'm going to end the ride, and I'd rather just know where I want the brake run to begin, and it just makes it more organized. and some parts of the ride I kind of adjust, like the airtime hills, I adjust them to make them give more airtime because I look at the guest like excitement things and then it doesn't boost up on the airtime hill where I want it to boost up, so then I have to like make that hill a little bit sharper or a little bit higher, and then it kind of fixes the problem. So that's my method of doing that. Then I decided to work on the queue, and I kind of put the queue just across the entire edge of the lake because I feel like being able to be in a queue and looking at the edge of the lake and looking at the coaster going on top of the lake, that's a really, I don't know, that seems so cool to me. If you hear like a lot of little noises when I'm creating the paths, it's because I kind of just spam placing the path until it actually works and in the way I want it to. So yeah, I just spam it until it lines up how I want. And for realism, since I think wooden coasters and water would not mix well together because like, you know, the wood would deteriorate over time, and like that would not be a good situation. So I decided to add some like stone footer, like extended little thingies, that way it's more realistic and like the wood isn't directly touching the water, because I know that would be really bad. So then I put those everywhere just to make it seem a little bit more realistic. After I finish doing that, I start working on the transfer track station, which was kind of hard because I didn't really have much space to work with. Like I didn't have enough space to add like workspace. I don't know, like behind Fireflight I have like this like little plaza that they can do stuff on. I didn't get to do it for this because I didn't have enough space. So I just decided to use this little spot to just kind of create this transfer storage train station. I don't know how realistic it is, but it's the best I could do with the space I had. So after I'm done building that, I change the color of the train, and this will change later on. It'll change later on with the entire track and support colors. But yeah, that'll change. Now I'm building the station for the ride, and for this station I kind of want like a woodsy, not woodsy as in like log cabin, but like just wooden supports, pitched roofs, just kind of generic. I don't want to go all out like I did on Fireflight. This one is going to be more generic, like you'd see it at like a Six Flags. And that's kind of my vibe for this one. And by saying that, I don't mean it won't fit into the cottagecore Verdalia vibe. It actually does really well, I think, when it's done. But I don't know, I kind of wanted a different dynamic in this park, because I don't want to just like spam the cottage looking buildings, you know what I mean? So my idea for this station was to have pitched roofs all in like a rectangle, and then in the middle have like a little raised part where it's just like a pitched triangle roof. I don't know how to explain that, I just kind of had that vision and I just wanted to use it for this. And I thought it would be cool. Most of me building the station is just building the supports because they have so much to do with like the design of the station, because it would not look the same without all of the supports. Here I decided to change all of the support colors to white because I feel like the brown, it kind of got drowned out by the rest of the roofs, and like you couldn't really see it very well. And I feel like the white really matched the walls on the lakeside. So I don't know, it just kind of felt cohesive changing it to the color white. Then for the foundation of the station, I decided to put brick walls because I feel like it just kind of made it look more sturdy rather than just like all wood. So here I figured that I could make this station a little bit more realistic by adding like kind of over the top details in the support. Like I don't need to do this technically, but just to make it more realistic, I added some little spaces on the underneath the roof, and I put some diagonal lines just to make it look you know, like it could hold a lot of weight. And here, since I had the idea of putting flowers right next to the queue, since I thought that would be a cool vibe, I was clearing out some path next to it just to make sure like no one can cross in. And then for this queue, I used a bunch of these Viking fences because I thought they looked really nice, and I feel like they kind of matched the wooden support kind of vibe of this station and coaster. And here I start placing all of the flowers next to the queue because I feel like it just gives it more of a theme. And then I themed them to orange because this area is kind of like orange, blue, just a lot of bright colors. So then yeah, I did orange flowers next to the queue. If I were actually here, this would make me die because I have terrible allergies. So hopefully my guests don't have allergies. So yeah, I just kind of spammed these fences all over the queue just to separate the lines. And then I figured since the ledge is kind of scary and a little bit dangerous, I don't want anyone falling into a lake, from the queue. So I decided to put these little, what do you call them? Like metal gate fences, just to make sure like no people or like children can crawl over. Then I used a different type of fence for like the actual station because I didn't want to reuse the queue fence because I feel like I used it so much. Like, not in a bad way, I feel like it looks really good in the queue, but I just want a different type of fence for the station. And to match the brick foundation, I put this red brick flooring in the station, and I feel like it looked really nice together. Then I I moved the Wild Mouse station and begin to work on the Wild Mouse layout. And I figure every Wild Mouse has like a few little drops, and then they go into these weird zigzags that make you feel like you're about to fall out. So that's kind of what I was trying to do with this ride. I actually found it oddly fun to build this coaster because I feel like it was so simple. Like I don't really care for it being like one-to-one as like a real model in real life. I just kind of did my own thing, and I made sure there's like realistic little zigzags. And then I made one part of the ride begin without spinning, and then the second half I made it spin, just to add a little bit of dynamic to the ride. And I thought that would be a cool thing to do. So yeah, I kind of like made it my own version, like with the drop in the beginning and then the drop into the next little zigzags. I don't know, I just think it's a fun little ride for the kids. And while I built this brake run, I actually found it really hard to make the clearance good. Like, I didn't want them to hit their heads on the top track, and that was kind of hard to do. I could have changed the layout, I guess, but I kind of didn't want to do it because I like this weird little airtime hill, and then it passes under into the brake run. I like that idea, so I tried to keep it, and I don't think they'll hit their heads, hopefully. I also really did find this coaster hard to block section. Like, I wanted three cars running at the same time, but that was really hard to do for some reason, because like wherever I put the block station, it wasn't high enough, or it wasn't strong. It didn't have enough momentum to reach the ending on the third block, and it was really hard to find a spot where, so I started like tilting the zigzag parts just to make the momentum last throughout the entire thing, and I feel like that worked in the end. Then, after I'm done fine-tuning this coaster and the smoothness of it, I start making the queue for the ride, which I'm not doing too long of a queue, but long enough of a queue for this ride since it might be popular among the children and even like, you know, the coaster enthusiasts. Like, gotta get on everything, you know, get them coaster counts. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I made it long enough for that since it's never full. Now that I already know how the finished product looks, so the line doesn't ever get full, so I think I made it long enough. Here, I decided a cool way to see the coaster and its riders from the outside. I could add a little pathway underneath it. That way, maybe like a parent wants to see their kid on the ride with like their sibling or something. You know, I feel like it would be a cool way to like take photos of like people on the ride, just like a path going right next to it. And especially for a kid ride that often go unnoticed in like parks, I wanted to add a little bit of effort into it, you know? I think I'm gonna make this part look a little bit better in the future, because I kind of just gave it like a normal chain link fence, which I think this part deserves better now that I think about it. So I'll probably add something, and I'll add it to the next episode, because now that I realize I kind of did this part a little dirty. Then I decide the color of this ride, and I decide that I want to make it really colorful and bright, because it's a kid's ride. Even though it's like next to kind of like a normal wooden coaster with normal colors, I wanted to give this one, I wanted to make it pop, because you know, it's a kid's ride. It has to be like, it has to make the kids wow and like make them excited. Oh yeah, and here I just changed the color of the wooden coaster again. Actually, I think that might be the final color. I'm pretty sure that's the final color that I stayed with in the end. So, there you go. Now you'll know. And here I'm just adding a bunch of vegetation to the coaster and making sure like they won't hit the bushes, you know, during the coaster. But I did it just to kind of make the coaster look prettier and just like less empty. Then I start working on the carousel, and for this carousel I kind of want it to be like a centerpiece of like the entire area, and to do that I kind of just like over decorated it. But the point is, I need to make it look nice and make it look appealing from the bottom too. I had this like whole vision, like from the bottom area it has to like look nice, and like it'll be a centerpiece, and then the wooden coaster next to it, and then you see the wild mouse far away. I don't know, I have a vision in my head, and you'll see it. And when I said overly decorated, this is where that begins. So I give the carousel, I attach the scenery to the carousel, and then I create an entire new roof on it. And my idea is I want this like this ledge balcony thing on top of it that maybe a character could pop out of, and like not pop out of but like a fake Verdalia character or something could be at the top, and it'll be like a cool like Disney like representation, I feel like. So yeah. So yeah, this disc I use as like a foundation for the balcony thing that I want on top of this, and I use the circle method to get all the fences around, which is very helpful. Then to start the actual like weird balcony spire thing on top of this, I use the shape piece to kind of make a circular wall in the middle of the fences. And then I look for a roof piece. That's kind of hard to find because they don't really have like scalable spires in this game. I really wanted a spire, but I ended up using this weird like window thing as like a foundation for the roof, and then I used an umbrella on top of that just to I don't know, I needed color up there, and I feel like the umbrella looked nice. Like, you can't even tell it's an umbrella, but it added like a certain thing that I was missing. Everything in Verdalia Park needs framing. So then I decided to put these wooden supports on top of this roof just to give it some framing, and I think it matched the vibe, the Verdalia vibe. Then I add some windows to the top little balcony thing just to make it look more like a balcony. Then I started adding some fencing to the Helter Skelter, and even though I'm not going to finish the theming of this ride in this video, I just add a few little things like the queue and the fences. And since everyone needs somewhere to sit in this area of the park, I put a bunch of benches everywhere. And like a tip to get the queue shaping right, like the path shaping right, I always use the editing tool just to kind of get everything to connect together and look more squarey than like the normal little round paths. Then after shaping the queue how I want it, I put the fences all over. And then I kind of just reused the fence from the wooden coaster because I really like that fence, honestly. I might be using it more often, but I won't make it too repetitive. And as I said earlier, the block zones for this for this wild mouse were really hard to manage. So then I changed it up a little bit. I added a block zone on top of the chain lift. That way, the car that'll stop there, it'll have the momentum for the rest of the ride, and then it'll all flow like normal. And once I get the minimum intervals right, the ride starts functioning like normally. And I feel like by adding 3 cars to this wild mouse, it really boosted up the amount of people I can get riding it. It just, I don't know, it helps move the line faster, because before it was not moving very fast and the line was building up. Then add more fencing for the queue of the carousel, because yeah, it needs fence. Then after having put all the fence down, I used the beautiful feature that they added, which is the no curbs, and I get rid of that little white line underneath it. That way it just all looks nice and organized. And then I put some benches around it, just because, you know, people need places to sit, especially in a kids area. And now I take the item storage bins from Firefly and I put them over here and just recolor them to match this vibe. And yeah, it's just to have everyone put their items in there while they're riding. Now I start mapping out where the exit for the hyperspin and the queue for it will be. It's not going to be a long one because I'm sure it won't be extremely popular of a ride, but it'll be long enough. Then I changed the color of the Wild Mouse car, and I changed it to the color of the rest of the rides in this part of the park, and I feel like it just matched. Then I finally start to work on the new restaurant in this area. I first started off with this like brick that I wanted to use, but then I ended up changing the texture eventually, but the layout of the building stays the same. Then I add 2 doors, one for entrance and one for exit, just because I thought that would be a cool idea. Here is when I start changing the texture from brick to wood, because I felt like the wood matched the rest of the area better, and I feel like none of the other buildings, or at least the one station so far, is not brick. And I just kind of wanted this area to be mostly wood, as like kind of most of the other park is actually using brick now that I think about it. But yeah, I want this to kind of be like a nice calm wood building. Here I'm building like a flat roof trim. That won't stay forever because I didn't really like the look of it. I feel like it didn't match anything else. And eventually I'll change the roof type, but for now I'm moving on to like these weird little balcony things that I decided to build. I feel like they kind of are a little bit western, but then I eventually made them into like the Verdalia vibe. Like like this balcony next to the building thing, that derives from Western, but you'll see how it matches with the rest of the buildings here. Here it was kind of hard to do this balcony since the wall was round, but I just used shorter pieces to be able to keep going around without issue. And right here is where it starts turning into a cottagecore vibe. I think literally you just need to add X's to your walls to make the cottagecore vibe. But obviously there's more to it, but you'll see. But that's like the basics. Now I decided to change the roof into a pitched roof because I think it would look better in this area, and I love pitched roofs. If I'm gonna be honest, I just love pitched roofs. I don't know why I don't like flat roofs. Like, I like them when they work, but it's so hard to make them work and look good. But I don't know. That's just me. Now that I'm finished pretty much with the roof, I have to add like the fillings for the pitched roof, and I just kind of use these small little squares to fill it out, and without it like sticking out all weird. And once again, this curved part of the building making everything harder. I have to lower the size of this column and duplicate it a billion times just so it looks normal. Then I start to add the windows, which I really think help make it a cottagecore vibe, and you'll see what I do. here I decided to move this entire wall back just to kind of create an L shape in this building, because I feel like it'll make everything look more cramped, not in a bad way, but like more cramped and more like the building is just taking up more space, and it looks better at the exit of the wooden coaster anyway. So then yeah, just to make this look like an extra part of the building, I added more balcony to this part just to make it all look solid. And then this hack with the rotational mover thingy device, I don't know where I learned it from. I know I watched someone's video and then I saw them doing this, but I completely forgot who it was. I can't give credit. I'm so sorry. And either way, I've seen a lot of people do this where they use it to rotate items, and I did it here and it actually helped a lot just to get that round roof done. Okay, so here I start on the windows, which I think pretty much complete the entire building, and they actually have a lot to do with how it looks at the end. So I just kind of did this like roof thingy with supports on the sides, and then I put this planter underneath on the bottom of the window. I put the planter underneath, and now that I think about it, I forgot to put flowers in them. I think even now that I'm done with it, I forgot to put flowers. I'll add that in the next episode. I have a lot of things to fix, that's my bad. But anyway, I framed the window, I put the planter underneath, I do this with the window, I add like a little kind of like envelope looking support thing, and then I add some glass to it, and I feel like this and duplicated on the other windows, it just really polishes the entire building. And then here I decided to do X's, but it was a little bit harder because the wall was curved, so then I had to curve the framing with it. And then I just kind of did the same thing the other way, and I just duplicated it to the other side. Then I added some pillars to like right next to the window, and I feel like it added some really nice framing to the entire building. Now I'm putting some framing on the underneath of the, what do you call it, the pitched roof. And I kind of use a different shape this time. I decided to put a vertical line and then almost like a peace symbol shape, and I feel like that shape, it was unique compared to my other ones, and I don't know, I really like it. I kind of use it on the windows too, like a weird little peace symbol. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Well, I think that's pretty much all for this episode. As I said before, I'm gonna be splitting the entire top level progress into 2 episodes. So the next one will be like all the decorations of the flat rides and the station of the wild mouse. What else? I'm gonna add some more games too. Like in the bottom level, I added some games already, but I will be adding more. A designated building for them actually, and just like a lot of more decorations and nighttime lights I'll be doing in the next one. Oh, also the interior of this restaurant. So I guess y'all are just gonna have to watch the next episode. Sorry guys, sorry, y'all are just gonna have to watch it. Okay, but thank you all for watching this one. I really appreciate y'all watching. Even if you don't watch all the way through, I appreciate you just clicking onto my video. So thank you. And as y'all might have already seen, I have the memberships going, and I have 1 member. So thank you to HashAndyCute for being my member, my first member. I really appreciate it. From now on, I'm gonna be putting my members at the end of my video in text. So thank you, HashAndyCute, for being my first member. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I don't want to be like annoying about it, like become a member, but if you want to, and if you want to support me, then that's an option for you. That's completely up to you. So, but thank you to anyone who is even considering it. So yeah, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers too, which is actually crazy. I think we can do it soon. I'm at 830 something. I think it's possible, guys. We could do it. If you're watching this, please subscribe. I'm pretty sure we can do it. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for all the support on the last videos. And now I'm gonna show you a little teaser of like the finished POVs of the rides. So goodbye, I'll see you in the next one.